We are taught that history is a straight line of progress, a comforting illusion of perpetual advancement. But what if I told you a woman living 3,000 years ago was vastly more liberated than a 19th-century socialite? The year is 1850. London is the capital of the modern world. A wealthy Victorian duchess sits in her parlor. She is draped in the finest silk. Yet she is trapped. Legally, she is categorized alongside children. She is classified with the insane. Now look back, 3,000 years into the deep past. The old kingdom of Egypt, the shadow of the Great Pyramid. A woman here possessed immense legal autonomy. She was a powerhouse. She managed sprawling estates. The shocking truth is clear. Human agency actually regressed over millennia. The 19th century championed civilization. The British Empire ruled the globe. Yet beneath the surface, it enforced a brutal legal doctrine. They called it coverture. Under coverture, a woman's legal identity was systematically erased. Upon marriage, she ceased to exist in the eyes of the law. Her existence was absorbed completely by her husband. She experienced a literal civil death. She could not sign a binding contract. She could not sue in court. She did not even legally own the clothes on her back. She was entirely dependent. Now cross the parallel gateway, return to the banks of the Nile. The contrast is staggering. Enter the Nebet Per, the mistress of the house. A woman in ancient Egypt was recognized as a complete independent legal entity. She testified in open court without a male guardian. She purchased vast tracts of agricultural land. She managed massive wealth independently. She executed complex binding legal contracts in her own name. She stood equal before the law, a level of legal personhood that simply vanished in the modern era. Let us examine the glass ceiling. Look closely at the Victorian cult of domesticity. It was nothing more than a gilded cage for the upper class. These modern women were reduced to mere decorative roles. They were confined strictly to the private sphere of the home, economically shackled to male inheritance. They were beautiful ornaments in a stifling drawing room. They were completely stripped of public influence. Professional ambition was considered a severe societal flaw. In ancient Egypt, the cage did not exist. The concept of female domestic confinement was alien. Women retained their own family names after marriage. They inherited assets and distributed them freely. Their professional roles broke every modern assumption. They served as powerful merchants trading luxury goods. They were strict overseers of complex, sprawling estates. They managed hundreds of workers. They even operated as highly respected physicians, curing the sick without a trace of social stigma. They operated with absolute, unquestioned authority in the public sphere. But the ultimate shock, the definitive proof of their supremacy, lies in the dissolution of a union. For a Victorian socialite, escaping an abusive or loveless marriage was practically impossible. It required a literal act of parliament. It was a guaranteed social death sentence. A nightmare of insurmountable legal hurdles designed to keep women trapped. The Egyptian woman faced no such terror. She entered marriage armed with a strict prenuptial agreement. Yes, a prenup in 2500 BCE. Her personal wealth was heavily shielded from her husband. She was guaranteed a 1/3 share of all joint property if the union split. And most shockingly, she held the absolute right to initiate a divorce, instantly, without seeking permission for any reason she chose. This was a profound level of agency, a fundamental human right. A right that modern women spent centuries painstakingly fighting to reclaim. The transition from the ancient world to the industrial era was not a triumph. It was a massive regression in female power. Recognizing these lost ancient rights is absolutely essential. It shatters the myth of linear progress completely. We must look backwards to understand our modern battles. History is not just the past, it is the blueprint for a truly autonomous future.